So guys, this is a deck list of the current format for Code Talkers combined with MathMech cards as well as the new Firewall cards. So I will go through it card by card and my thoughts about it. And yeah, let's start it. So basically something really general we have here. We are beginning with 3 Parallel Exceed. Some people only play 2, but I like to play 3 because Parallel Exceed is a really good bridge for Small World. Basically, with nearly every card in your hand, with every Cybers card, you can bridge for Parallel Exceed to find your 1 card combo, the Firewall Defensor. And yeah, so basically, it's a really good card, as well as any normal summon, Cybers normal summon plus Parallel Exceed is quite a good board, containing the Dark Fluid, the Singularity, as well as the normal Firewall. So even if you have a really weak hand with no combo starters, Firewall plus a normal summon will also do the job most of the time. Of course, always considering without interruptions. Then we are playing this new card from uh, the newest set. It's the Firewall Phantom. We need it for the 1 card combo. Basically, you summon it, and this will find you most of the time the Cynet Codec in the 1 card combo. It's really good. Also has another effect in that you want always to banish it from the graveyard after it was sent there to shuffle one Cybers monster back into your graveyard from the graveyard into your deck. This is normally an extra deck monster, like could be something like a Transcode Talker or a Splash Mage, things like that, which can extend and which are nice to have back into your extra deck. Then we have 3 Lady Debug, also really good card, really good normal summon, I would say. They also, yeah, Lady Debug is also full combo in connection with things like Mathmech Circular. It's also a really good combo in connection with the microcoder. It's also full combo there. So in the end, really good card. You often need it to find either your Ibli or your microcoder. So those two are always your targets most of the time for your Lady Debug. So yeah, good card, good normal summon. It's nice to see it, and even if it gets, I don't know, ashed or something like that, something like this, then you can always use it as a good link climb combination if you have other cards in your hand which can extend, which most of them can. Then we have the Mathmech card, really good card, the Circular. You might know it. It's played at 3. It's so good. It's nearly broken, some people would say. So this sends you one Mathmech monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then you can special summon it. Really good part is the first part that it is for cost to send a Mathmech monster except itself from the deck to the graveyard. So you often want, or most of the time, you want to send the Sigma. Um, yeah, this is needed for your combos. This enables so many uh, rank 4 combinations or link 2 combinations and then link climbing. So also, if you have no other combo starter in your hand and you only have Mathmech Circular, you will end on the same board like with Parallel Exceed, and in a normal summon it would be Singularity, Dark Fluid and Firewall Dragon for um, for a few interruptions there. Really nice. Also the second effect really important. This will in this kind of deck will find you always the Mathmech equation. This is the only spell and trap we play here for Mathmech. If you want to go more on the Mathmech combo side, you often want to find the super factorial, the trap card. But here for our combo we need it. We need the equation because this is important to summon the circular back from your graveyard in a zone where the Cyber Switch points to find your ritual cards. And yeah, so important for the combo. Can be a starter, good extender, overall really good card. So that's why I'm playing 3, of course. Then we have the newest addition to the deck. Such a good card, the Firewall Defensor. you saw it in the video. It's a one card full U-Link or extra link, V-Link, how you want to call it, doesn't matter. Also Ibli Lock plus at least 8 interruptions, so this is really good card in general here. It's the best starter. You want to see it in your hand. If you're seeing it and it goes through without any interruptions, it's really good. Yeah, this makes the Ray free for so many combos you have in your deck. Also, really important second effect, which some people might forget. If it is possible for your opponent to break your board with the extra link, should not be possible. Or let's say you got an interruption, then this card is also good protection because it has another effect in the graveyard. Because if a firewall monster or one or more firewall monster you control, and you often control more than one, you often control the Firewall Dragon, the Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid, as well as the Firewall Dragon Singularity. This can protect them if they would be destroyed by card effect, so you can banish it, which is really good. Really, really good. Also, your opponent cannot react. It's like the same like we have for Banelings. Like for Salamangreat, like the second effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead, so it's something like a replacement effect, so your opponent cannot react to it. Your opponent cannot, I don't know, called by the grave it, so it's not possible, so it's a really good protection effect. And this also for multiple firewall monsters you control. So really good card. Also second effect, quite important. Then we have one Diameter. You can consider to cut it, but I have it in here because it is part of a combo for the Singularity and the Microcoder effects, where you need the Diameter as another name or extender basically. So that's why it's in here. You need it as your normal summon basically, because if this card is normal summoned, you can target another level 4 Cyberse monster in your graveyard. Often you target the Circular, or could also be Sigma or Edition, doesn't matter. One of those, and you can special summon it, and really good card. Therefore, and for a combo you need it. That's why I have it in here, just for that reason. Yeah, you can consider to cut it, but then you would not have the option for this one full combo there. Yeah. Then of course the Sigma, you always send it with the Circular most of the time. Yeah, really good card. Overall, special summon itself if you have no cards in extra deck, and this happens also a lot. Any extra monster zone happens. This happens a lot. So yeah, but it gets banished if it uses its effect and leaves the field. But you can of course summon it, use it as an XYZ material, and then if you're using the effect of your Alan version, then it will not get banished because it was just used as material, not this normal, so to say, card effect thingy. It's this thing with XYZ monsters. Yeah. So it will not get banished, so you still have it in your graveyard, which is good for maybe next turn, and also, yeah, some combos. Then we have the Edition. It's a good extender. I just have it in here because, yeah, it can be an extender. It can be searched for Standard Codec. It's always your search for fire if you summon the Heat Soul. Yeah, so that's why we have it in here. Then we have this one Firewall Guardian. You can also cut it, but it is needed for full combo with Firewall Defensor if you have the Firewall Phantom in your starting hand, because then you cannot use the full combo anymore if you have the Phantom in your hand, but you can if you are playing the Firewall Guardian, and you will summon the Firewall Guardian instead of the Phantom with the effect of the Defensor. Therefore you need it. Yeah. Then with the Code Generator, also good card. You will always search it here. With the Codec, it's your Earth search card basically. You can also play the Gachiri, the Ignister. I had it formerly in my deck, but with the newer combos, I never actually search it. I always search for the Code Generator. You can think about to play it if you are seeing too many times your code generator in your starting hand, because then you basically have no search for an earth monster if you do not want to search for the dotscaper, because you will always want to mill it. But yeah, depends what you want to do. I think with if you get the link decoder card, hopefully in the next set in Duelist Nexus, let's see when it comes out, then um, then I always want to play the Gachiri, because the Signister card is then really important to make your singularity unaffected by opponent card effects until the next turn. And with the new combo with the linked decoder, it is then possible to always search it and make it unaffected, which is super strong and will most of the time guarantee you then the win. Yep. Then for hand traps, so I'm playing currently in this deck list, I'm playing 6 hand traps. We're playing the Ghost Mourner and the Drolan Lockbird. So Ghost Mourner I put in here because it is really, it is like basically effect Brailer, but it has an also second effect to punish your opponent if this the phaser card leaves the field, which can happen because you have so many cards which they bounce something to your opponent's hand, and then it leaves the field, and then you get the second effect. But also, it's quite nice as a card in connection with Small World, because if you have in your opening hand, let's say Small World and the Ghost Mourner, then you can Small World, show your opponent Ghost Mourner, it's wind, then you show the Parallel Exceed, it's wind, and then you get your Firewall Defensor. So, as you see, Parallel Exceed often a bridge and can even be used with the Ghost Mourner. So that's why I have it in here. Yeah, really good hand trap, I would say. I like it. It's nice to have. And then we have the Link Infra Flyer. It's another extender, and it can be searched via the Cyanide Codec for your wind element. If you already have one Parallel Exceed in your hand, you do not need to search the second one. Then you would always use it to search for the Link Infra Flyer. Yeah. Then of course we have the Ibli. So in this combination of deck, in my combos, as you saw, I try to tend for go for the extra link, and therefore giving your opponent also Ibli is then really strong, because I do not like it really to give your opponent Ibli, but they can use the extra monster zones again, or have them still available to link summon, because people are aware of the card, at least since the last format where Kashtira played it. So many people are now playing in decks with like Linguribo or Link Kuribo, so therefore it would not be so effective. Yeah. So you're always searching it out, either as I said with your Lady Debug, or most of the time in the combo with your Protect Code Talker as the dark element. Yeah. Nothing I have to say about it. Ibli really. Also, Ibli has a second effect which could come up. So, because it is called as normal summoned, you can target a link monster in your graveyard and you can special summon it. So it points to this card, effects are negated and so on and so forth, but you can link climb with Ibli, basically. Yeah. Also could come up. It never came up so far for me, but it could come up. So always remember it has a second effect. Yeah. Then we have the microcroder. So this was basically before one of your best cards to find your Signet Codec, or basically your only chance to find the Signet Codec. But since we have now with the Firewall Defensor an even better searcher with the Phantom, deck is much more yeah, it got much better now. Also, my code is still a really good extended or really good card for link climbing. Basically, it always need most of the time it searches your Signet Conflict. Also, there was another combo video I uploaded. It can also search your Signet Ritual if you already have the Cyber Sage in hand. So you would not end on your Signet Conflict, but you would still end on a really strong board, which is a V-Link plus Ibli and so on. Really hard for your opponent to break, but you would still have access to your Ritual Summon, which is really good, I would say. And therefore they are not really bricks, because with the microcoder yeah, you basically have the option there to find the Silent Ritual if you already have the Cyber Sage in hand. You will not have the Silent Conflict then, but yeah, not so bad, I would say. Then we have the Dotscaper, really good card. Sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it, but then it gets yeah, you can special summon it really good. You most of the time you use it with your code generator effect to send a Cybers monster with 1200 attack or less from your deck to the graveyard. You always using it to find a Dotscaper. But it could be that you have Dotscaper in your starting hand, but then for example if you go for the Firewall Defensor combo, you need to discard a card with your Firewall Phantom. Because it says if it is used as a link material for Cybers monster, you can add one Signet spell and trap from your deck to your hand. Yeah, okay. This is almost the time Signet Codec. But then discard one card. So you would then discard the Dotscaper and then you would just summon it out and then you have still full combo, even though you have it in your starting hand. And then, for example, you could send then with the code generator effect something like a Firewall Guardian, because this has also a protection effect in the battle phase when an attack is declared. So yeah, you could use that instead. Why not? Then to unlock, but as I said, then a Cyber Sage, really good card as well. It's really important for the combos. It's really important for the counters on the Dark Fluid, on the effect of the Singularity because of the different card types. It's your ritual card here. It enables you also your fusion card, so really good card. Then we have some extenders if you get hand trapped, something like this, like Talons, really good card, going first and going second, I would say. Silent Mining finds you everything in your deck. Small World, really good, finds you most of the time your Firewall Defense or whatever you're missing for your combo. As I said, Power Exceed is most of the time your bridge from your deck. Nearly everything can be found with it, so really good. Also, if you look into my side deck, I have there one Santa Claus, which is there for the purely matchup. And you can even use Santa Claus as a bridge in your deck to find the Firewall Defense, because if you have a light monster, let's say Mathematic Circular, then you could use the Santa Claus, because the only thing they both have in common is that they are both light. Yeah. And then with the Santa Claus as a bridge from your deck for Small World, it will find you your Firewall Defensor, because the only thing those two have in common is the attack points. They both have 1200 attack points, and therefore can be used as a bridge. Really good. And of course you can find it as well, because with nearly every Cybers card here you can choose then as a bridge a light monster from your deck. You have so many light monsters in your deck to find you then the Santa Claus. But important to know, if you're using the Santa Claus to special summon it, you cannot use your Firewall Defensor effect anymore, because it says you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activated this effect. So the special summon effect, if it is used as a link for a link summon to special summon out the Firewall Phantom, you cannot special summon anything else except Cybers monster for the rest of the turn, for the whole turn. For the whole turn, not only rest of the turn, the whole turn. And since this is a special summon, you cannot use it. You could use it, but then you cannot use the Firewall Defensor and vice versa. So yeah, always keep that in mind. Then of course the Silent Ritual. The same is here if you are going for your combo. Basically, even though you have the Cyber Sage in your starting hand, you can, as I said, you can find Silent Ritual with the microcoder. Or if you have the Silent Ritual in your hand, you can find the Sage with your Ibli, for example. Or, because this is dark, you can also find it with your Protect Code Talker. Or the normal Code Talker. So there are also combos where you might have this in your starting hand. But it's not really a brick, because the only thing again which you will not end on is the Silent Conflict. Yep. And I think we all can live with that. If we have an Ibli on our opponent's side and still the V-Link, so still really strong. Then of course the Silent Codec. Before I think people played 3 because it's really good. It's nearly the best card in your deck to find out all the extenders, all the cards from your deck. But since we have now with the Firewall Defensor another 3 cards, which finds you this card and not only the microcoder anymore, I think 2 are enough here, because you do not need multiple ones in one turn, also for the next turn not, because it's a permanent spell, yeah. And yeah, but I'm playing 2, because what could happen is if one gets destroyed, because people are playing Ghost Ogre at the moment, mainly I think because of Super Heavy Samurai, you could still then activate another one, because the activation of this card is not once per turn. The effect to find something out of your deck is once per chain, of course, per attribute, and then even if this card leaves the field, you cannot special summon Cybers monsters, yeah, but doesn't matter really for your deck because everything is Cybers, basically. Yeah, but quite important to know, even though they do it destroyed, if you have the second one you already in your hand, then that's quite nice. That's why I'm playing 2. Yeah, but I think 3 are not needed anymore, because we have now the Firewall Defensor is the second searcher together with the Firewall Phantom to find it. Then we have the Salaman's Great Sanctuary, which you will always use with the Banelinks. Yeah, this card is also good for your Ibli lock, because then it cannot go into battle phase and crash into your opponent in one of your monsters with the Ibli, because the Ibli has 0 attack points. Then with the Salaman Great Sanctuary effect, you would say, okay, the monster you're attacking, I am making now also, I'm paying 1000 life points. I target one link monster because I have only link monsters, and make its attack also to 0. And then, yeah, by the rules, if 2 monsters are battling with 0 attack points, neither monster is destroyed by battle, so they would still have the Ibli, and they even now are in main phase 2, so it looks then really good for you if they are not aware of the effect of the Salamacrete Sanctuary. And then we have the Senate Conflict, really good, really effective Omni Negate, so good this card. Mainly you want to use this card on things like mainly Dark Ruler no more. Because the thing is, Dark Ruler no more is not once per turn. If you would negate it with a different card like this, it's not possible. So Dark Ruler no more, you cannot react to it, a response to this with a monster effect. So you cannot use the Cyber's fusion monster here, and you cannot use any other card. You can only use Spell and Trap, so it's really good. And it's really important that it says the card with the same original name as that card that was banished, or you negated the effect and banished it, cannot be used until the end of the next turn. So you always want to use it for Dark Ruler. So I played now this deck on my locals, and people used so many times Dark Ruler no more, and yeah, always was able to negate it. And even in one match, my opponent wanted to activate the second one, but I said no, it's not possible. Yeah, and then I scooped. So even the hardest out to this board, Dark Ruler no more, is nothing really against this card here, Silent Conflict. It's really good. Yeah, you want to use it, and you will always find it, or most of the time you find it with your microcoder. You can also think about, if you already have the Silent Codec, you could also find the Silent Conflict a bit earlier, or really early in the combo with the Firewall Phantom, because normally Phantom would find you the Silent Codec. But if you have it already in hand, you could find your Silent Conflict if you want. Yeah. And then for the extra deck, so you have a lot of combo materials. This card came out now also in the new set. Can special summon one Cybers monster from your hand. This is most of the time Ibli for the combo. It's a spell and trap negate in the graveyard. It's a quick effect, really good. This combo material. There's also one combo I want to record where you use the second effect if you're using 3 materials to add one level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. So there's a combo where you need that. But yeah, most of the time you use it with your Singularity and as well as the Sigma to find the equation. Also, another effect it has, it can tribute itself as a Sonic combo to special summon another Math Mech card, and this can then trigger the Firewall Dragon. So yeah, coming to the Firewall monster, so this is also now the new card. That's why we're playing Ritual and Fusion and XC monsters here, because with that you have 3 bounces in every turn, not only once per duel or only in one turn and then no, it's for the rest of the duel basically. Um, in all turns you have 3 bounces then, and this card gains permanently 500 attack for each card returned. But it's important if you are returning extra deck monsters to the hand, they go to the extra deck, and then you will not get 500 attack points for that. So only for those cards who really go into the hand of the opponent. Yeah, and not the second effect is also really good. So this card is really strong. It's so good, I have to say. It's Link 6. Sounds pretty much, but it's so easy to summon in this deck. Specifically, also the monster reborn effect from the graveyard is really good. So this is also once per turn, but can be also be used in your opponent's turn if something is destroyed and goes to the graveyard by opponent cards. For example, could happen. Where it points to also quite important to know with the link arrows. A V-link is possible with this card when it is in the middle, right in the middle zone. Also, if you do not have the extra link or the U-link for your opponent or the V-link, then it often points into the link zones. And if your opponent wants to link climb, so go into normal summon, then link 1, special summon, link 2, then this card points to a link monster, and the link monster left the field because it was linked then for link 2, for example, and then the effect would trigger off the singularity and would just reborn one of your Cyberus monster from me at the graveyard, which is really strong. Yeah. Then we have the Dark Fluid. Basically, this is why I currently only have access to Kotoko in the side deck. Looks a bit strange, but this is mainly focused on going first. This is for me clearly going second card. I do not need it for the combo at the moment. And also Dark Fluid, if you are going, if you need to go second in your first duel, then this can also be an OTK machine because yeah, this is not only monster negate. Normally you have 3 negates with it. It loses some counters if you're using it, the monster negate effect. But it gets 2500 attack points for each counters during the battle phase only. This is not an activated effect, it's also quite important, so I was able to clear here an opponent's M-Pen, the Fluanderies monster, which says all your monsters in attack mode cannot activate their effects, and also it gets some, or can reduce your opponent's monsters attack and defense in the battle phase. But with Firewall Dark Fluid, because it gets so many attack points, it was not able for my opponent to reduce it enough, so that yeah, I was just able to destroy the M-Pen then just in the battle phase. Because it is not an activated effect at 2500 attack points, it just gains it, so it's not activating, so it's really good. And this can be your OTK machine. Yeah. So often I used it. I used the other firewall monsters to bounce my opponent monsters to their hand and cards, and then I would just attack with the Dark Fluid with most of the time 8000 attack points. So 2 counters were left, and then yeah, you win the duel. Also quite important to know if you're using the effect of Circular, you can only attack with 1 monster for the rest of the turn. So that's why this is also then your 1 monster you want to attack with. You have no other choice, because the others would not be strong enough to OTK your opponent. But Dark Fluid will be. Yeah, Firewall Dragon really good for combo enablers, bounces, really strong, really good card. You can use the effect again to bounce something to the hand from the field or graveyard if this will be reborn from the graveyard, which happens quite a lot. Yeah, really strong. Xcode Talker, you need it for the combo. Also, this Monster Zone lock is important if you have the Cyber Sage or the Ritual in your starting hand and you need to go for the full combo, for the extra Link Ibli combo, because then you would have your Dark Fluid in the extra Monster Zone and it would point up, so your opponent would have a Monster Zone available to link into. But since you would leave the Xcode Talker on the field for this combo, you would block the zone, the monster zone the Dark Fluid is pointing to, and then yeah, your opponent is still evilly locked and cannot special summon anything. Yeah. Also, it has a second really important effect, I would say. Not the 500 attack gain points, but also they cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it can also be a protection effect, which can come up. Um, Quite important for that. It's uh, it's a good card. It will always find with the Synod Codec your Parallel Exceed, or if you have Parallel Exceed already in your hand, it will find your Infra Flyer. Then Transcode Walker, really good for the combos. Yeah, nothing to say about. Really strong card since the beginning. Um, then we have the newest card to protect Code Talker. Also quite good. This protects your big firewall monsters from any destruction by battle, or they cannot be targeted for card effects, which is also quite good. And you can special summon it as a quick effect from your graveyard, so important for some combos, especially in some really weird hands where you do not have your normal combo enablers. But yeah, a really good card. The link arrows are also good, and this is Dark Code Talker monster, so this will nearly always find you your Ibli, so or the microcoder and some combos. Then we have the Heat Soul. Honestly, I do not use it so many times in my normal combos, but I only because in my normal combos I don't need to go into Heat Soul. I have it in here because it could be that you get interrupted in your combos. And then Heat Soul is still a really good card to end on because this will continue two draws basically, which you can draw in one of your hand traps or maybe in another extender. So that's why I have it in here. Um, also, um, also could be an extender because this has a second effect to banish itself from the field to summon one link 3 or lower Cyberus monster from extra deck. Could be maybe a Splash Mage if you have not used it any, so far, or a Transcode Talker to revive something back from the graveyard. Could also be possible if you have 2000 or less life points, so could come up, but never came up for me so far. And this will always find you with the Synod Codec, the Mathmech edition, because this is Cyber's card and it's fire. Then Code Talker Inverted, it's important for the combos as well as the Code Talker. It's needed for some combos. Splash Mage also good card for link climbing. Cyber Switch really good card for the ritual summon effect or ritual finder. And has a second effect. If you use the first effect, you can special summon something back from your graveyard. But keep in mind, if you have one of those, the Synod Ritual and Cyber Sage already in your hand, you cannot use the effect of the Cyber Switch at all. So you will never summon it because you need to find both cards from your deck, and that's why you cannot find the other piece, and also you cannot use the second effect. So it's really not needed. Then to summon it, you will never summon it if you have either one of these, the Cyber Sage or the Cyanide Ritual in your opening hand. Banelink's important for the combo Lingerie as well for the U-Link or the V-Link, and can also be a trap negate. And then yeah, for the side deck I have some cards I can switch out. Gamma can be important. Santa Claus I will mention. Then I have the Arrival Cyberus Ethicnisters. This is especially in here for the shifter, dimension shifter, because you cannot really play on a dimension shifter because nearly everything needs to go to the graveyard except the Dotscaper, because also if this card is banished, you can special summon it. So therefore, if you have a good hand and you will get shifted, you can end on the Arrival Cyberus Ethicnister for 5000 attack points unaffected. And this could be enough against Kashtira, or to give you enough time um, to beat your opponent. But yeah, that's why it's in here. Maybe when Kashtira will get hit or not so many people will play Shifter anymore, then this can get out. Then we have some clearly going second card with the update gem and the access code talker for OTK. Yeah, then I have Swan Lightning Storm to find it with triple tactic tasking, triple tactic thrust, as well as Dark Ruler no more. Really, really good. And if you Dark Ruler your opponent and you have full combo, then you can bounce everything or destroy everything or whatever. So you opponent nearly has no chance to come back from it. Yeah, that's why it's in here. You can bounce everything to your opponent's hands and then can U-Link them, give them an ability as well. So what can I do? Not so much anymore. Yeah. Then the Lightning Storm to find it with the Thrust, one in here. And that's the deck. So I was really doing some deck building since the last few weeks. I changed it through a lot of lists, and this is not the list I came up for me, which is the best list so far I've came up with. So this enables a lot of things. You have some extenders, but I do not want to have too many because I want to see my combo cards, the one card combo cards and the two card combo cards in my opening hand. Yeah, that's why this is the list so far. Extra deck 15 cards is really tight, so you need nearly every card for your basic combo. That's why I have some extra deck monsters in my side deck, because there's not enough space in here. Yeah, but this is the deck list. So yeah, feel free to comment on it. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think that the Code Talker cards could be a good call for the next meta? I know there are a lot of hand traps in, but yeah, it has some really good potential. It needs a good pilot to play, but at least let's say if you're using it on your locals or on a regional level, so many people do not know what these cards do, and those cards are so strong. And yeah, if your opponent is reading this card, then you know, okay, they have no clue what my deck is doing, what my deck is capable of doing. So yeah, then you normally know that you are winning. Yeah, so that's it for the deck list. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, see you soon.